Hij is 14 van Jesus is nou dat is niet dood voor allebei. There's a lot of reasons. Oh yeah, then we can come back and have a look.
Please come closer, please come closer. But before we begin with a tour of the castle, I'm going to give you a brief history about the castles we have in Ghana and in the transatlantic slave trade on the west coast of Africa. Basically, in Ghana, there are 3 castles dotted along the coast of Ghana. We have St. George's Castle in Elmina, built by the Portuguese in 1482. It is the largest and the oldest European trading post in sub-Saharan Africa. We have the second one in Accra, that is the Christiansborg Castle, built by the Danes in 1661. That is the second largest castle in the country. And then finally, we have Cape Coast Castle, built by the British in 1664. Cape Coast Castle, where we are at the moment, this is the smallest among the 3. However, Cape Coast Castle, it was once built as a fort known as the Karelusberg Fort by the Swedish in 1653. The fort changed hands severally between the Swedish, the Danes, the Dutch, until the British captured it in 1664. It was the British who developed the fort into a castle status as we see today. Cape Coast Castle, as it exists today, it was built over a period of 300 years. It wasn't built at a go, but rather it was built in stages before the whole edifice was fully completed. However, the land on which the Cape Coast Castle sits on now, the land itself has gone through several European nations. First, it was the Portuguese who first occupied this very land. From there, the Swedish, the Danes, the Dutch, and then the British. The British were the last European nation to settle on this very piece of land. Slavery, in one way or the other, has been with man since time immemorial. For that reason, we Africans, we understood the concept of slavery before the coming of the Europeans. But in our system of slavery here, it was quite different from what the Europeans introduced. The system that existed here, it was very difficult to even refer to someone as a slave. We normally refer to these people as servants because these people, in most cases, had rights. They could give birth, acquire property, and became free people after settling their debt. And so within the society setting, it was very difficult to even identify a slave from a free man because they were all fed, sheltered, did everything equally within the society. Another uniqueness of the idea of slavery in our culture was that when a slave proved to have a managerial ability or has a military skills, such fellow could become the caretaker of his master's household. Descendants of such became royals. When a slave woman marries into the system, she ceases to be a slave and had a royal descendant. This was a kind of slavery we were practicing here before the Portuguese got here with the supposed idea to barter trade in gold and ivory. Why am I saying with the supposed idea? It is because long before these castles were built, the British or the Europeans were already trafficking Africans as slaves to Europe, long before these castles were built. The very first time was in 1441, which was led by a man they called Antonio Gonzalez. He took 12 boys from up Senegal or Gambia to Portugal. Upon reaching Portugal, the prince was happy for only two reasons. One, they could educate these boys to serve as interpreters between them and Africans when they return back to Africa to trade. Two, they will help these boys to become missionaries. When they return back to Africa, these boys will spread the gospel. However, these 12 boys never came back as it was planned or intended. And so from 1441, no European nation came to West Africa without taking Africans as slaves. They were capturing Africans as slaves 30 years before the Portuguese got to this part of the coast in 1471. 11 years later, the Elmina Castle itself was built. That is how come I said with a supposed idea, because it looked as if they already had their plans and intentions already before they got here. The tool in the middle has been taken off, left to the last one. Even with the last one, you can still feel the heat in here. You can imagine all the three doors are locked out. No food, no water was given to them. They were still in chains and in shackles, out of suffocation and in starvation. Nobody survived in here. Nobody comes in here, goes back alive because of the conditions that existed in here. That is the male dungeon. We're moving down, 3 steps down, the floor slopes in here. It's a bit slippery. Please let us take our time watching move down. Please come. Oh, come on. Everybody. Naturally, it is brighter as you compare to the remaining chambers because of this open space up here. From this very point, not everyone will continue the journey. Separate the weaker ones from the stronger ones. The weaker ones will have to stay in this room for doctors or physicians in the castle to examine them. Only the stronger ones will have to continue with the journey. After the sorting has been done, the stronger ones wouldn't move back towards the main entrance. No, they would have to exit the dungeon through an underground passage. Behind this very wall, there is an underground passage, very big and very wide, about 70 meters from this point. Only the stronger ones would have to make their way through this tunnel. They walk through till they get to the door of no return, where the women can join them. They all move straight into the ships. The tunnel has been blocked by the British in 1834. We cannot make our way through this tunnel. However, when we step outside, we shall get the opportunity to see how big the tunnel is, where exactly the tunnel ends. Here by Africans, African Americans, people from the Caribbean, together with some other well-wishers. These are normally brought in here during Pan-African Historical Theatre Festival. That is PANAFest, or Emancipation Day. That is when these are brought in here to the African traditional temple. In the olden days, before the Europeans had not introduced Christianity to Africans, nor the Arabs had not become to Africans, we Africans, we had our own way of communicating to the Supreme Being. We communicate to the Supreme Being through natural things like stones, rivers, mountains, trees. It is our belief that once we pray or worship through some of these natural phenomena, our petitions will get to the ancestral world. The ancestors, together with the deities, will carry our petitions to the Supreme Being. It is all because we Africans believe that the ancestors and the deities are more closer to the Supreme Being than any other person. As a matter of fact, it was not the Europeans who introduced God to Africans. We Africans, we long knew the existence of God long before the coming of the Europeans. But we Africans, we cannot tell what form God is in. But we believe that the natural things surrounding us, these things were created by the Supreme Being. Let us pray, let us communicate through some of these natural phenomena. The Supreme Being will hear our prayers. This is how we Africans communicated to the Supreme Being.